You're about to hear a story based on actual events.
There is a figure standing in the bathroom.
Did it come through the wall into the home?
You have permission to talk for at least the next 1.5 to 2 hours.
Wonderful. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Guess what?
What?
We're back.
We're back.
Again.
And we're better than ever.
Great. I was trying to think of something to say after that, but I'm glad you had one ready to go. Locked and loaded in the chamber?
Yeah. I rehearsed it before.
Oh, is that what you were? I heard you rambling in the bathroom.
Yeah,
about
that's
something.
what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was practicing saying, my name is Izzy and Lewis.
What happened to those accents you were trying? You didn't settle on any of them? I was doing some pretty
I decided to just keep it authentic.
Okay.
Because I won't be able to hold an accent for the whole episode.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
The Indian one was pretty offensive anyway, so I'm glad you didn't go for that.
So am I. Goodness me. How are you?
I'm good.
That's
I'm
good.
feeling excellent.
Are you?
Had a delicious dinner.
Yes.
Some nice tacos.
And finally some representation on emojis.
That's it. Yeah, big news this week.
Yeah.
You got
I've got some as well.
ginger emojis
And
is my big
and
news.
shaved head emojis.
And shaved head emojis. But you could have always just used the dude's one.
I just use the dude's one at the moment. But I'm shaving my head again in a couple of days.
How short?
Probably like a 0.5.
You should go like Bic, like to the skull.
Do you mean like with a Bic razor?
Yeah. It'd grow back so fast.
I've said that I will do that if I don't have to work for like 5 days after.
Yeah, 5 days is plenty.
You know when you are like a little bit self-conscious about something so you don't want people to bring it up? Because people will be like, oh my God, your head looks shaved. And then I'll be like, let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Is this overall the reaction you've been having since you shaved it? Or you mean if you go
No.
short?
I mean like if I went super, super short, like to the fucking Bic or whatever you're calling it.
Yeah.
What's that, like a 0? Or that's not even a 0?
Well, I'm just saying that as like the Bic razor, where you would razor it to be...
Like razor it, yeah. That's like...
Razor it and then oil it up so it's shining.
That's hectic. That's super hectic.
Like
Yeah, I think
Voldemort.
0 is the next step.
I think that's it. I think
Because I've been doing like 0.5
what's
last
less
time.
than 0.
Well, it's...
You want to see the brain, really.
Yeah. Get in there.
Yeah. Self-lobotomy while you're doing a haircut.
Yeah. Like, I've recently watched like the Hannibal movies again. And you know, in the last one...
I haven't seen the last one.
Oh, haven't you?
Wait, I think I've only seen Silence of the Lambs.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What is it? Red Dragon? Red December?
So there's one that I haven't seen that I found out after I had my move marathon called Mindhunter or Manhunter maybe. So I haven't seen that one, but then Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, and then Hannibal. Oh no, Hannibal Rising.
So there's a TV series for it now
Called Hannibal as well. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I haven't watched it.
No. But in the last Hannibal one that's called Hannibal, he is like serving a guy his brain. And it's hilarious. The guy's saying the most ridiculous shit.
That sounds like some Jeffrey Dahmer type activity.
It's fantastic.
So he was saying that he was trying to make zombies for real. Like, and he did a few different experiments.
Jeffrey
on people.
Dahmer was?
Yeah.
Really?
He had no real success. So I think one of the things that he was doing was like pouring hot water directly onto people's brains while they were still alive.
Yeah. I have...
Which
I
is
watched recently
harrowing.
Dahmer and Friends, the movie made about him. Have you seen it?
No. I think the only Dahmer movie I've seen was one, was it Young? My Friend...
Oh, no, that's the one we watched together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that didn't go into his crimes, really.
No.
So it didn't go into any of that shit.
It was a good movie, though.
I find it was okay.
You hated it because there was no murders.
Yeah, I want to see
That's what I
some
liked about
murder.
it.
I liked it because I feel like I got to know Jeffrey Dahmer a little bit. Like, he was obviously a fucking weirdo.
No surprise there.
No. But yeah, I would have liked to see him lobotomize people.
Have they done that movie yet? He's adult, like
his crimes.
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's probably a bit too gory.
But
bit
they make
negative.
like
They make
super
the
gory
fucking
horror
Saw
movies. They don't
Yeah.
They don't make many of those movies that intense about real serial killers.
No.
I think that'd
Maybe
probably
that's-
connect a
it's
bit.
Maybe
too.
a little bit too sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think even people who do like horror movies like to be able to distance themselves from reality a little bit.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about Hannibal, and why the actual character is kind of so lovable, because he's not a real person. So you don't feel guilty for loving him.
If he was a real person, I would never watch those movies.
No way.
That would be freakish.
Yeah.
Is he based off of real life?
No, but Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs is based off like Ed Gein,
Right.
and maybe like taken a few things from a few different serial killers. But I think mostly it's based off Ed Gein.
Excellent.
But yeah, I don't think Hannibal is based off anyone.
Me saying excellent might not have been the most appropriate response to that.
No,
It's horrifying.
it is horrifying. Such a fucking
Great actor, though.
yeah. Who, Anthony Hopkins, or the
No,
guy that played?
Anthony Hopkins as well. That's a role of his life. But
No one could have done it justice like he
who
did.
who plays Buffalo Bill?
I'm not sure of the actor's name.
He does a great job.
He does a great job.
Everybody in that movie is very well cast.
Tell me, you've only seen Silence, so you haven't seen.
I've seen the guy from Red Dragon, if that's who you're referring to. The young
that's Voldemort.
Ray Fiennes.
Is that his name?
The actor who plays
Yeah.
Voldemort. Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to really like that actor, but I think he weirds me out now. Like I can't watch anything else with him in it
Because
without
of Red
Dragon. Yeah, without thinking.
Why am
of how-
did I say Red October 3 times just then? Was
What's
I calling
Red
it Red
October?
Dragon? I think it's one of the it's a warship from a movie. What's Red October? It's from I think it's
I'm
like a
not sure.
code name from Doctor Strangelove or some war movie.
Yeah, right. Was this your segue into talking about war?
And it's
Do you want to
also
talk about war?
Yeezy's
you want to talk about Kanye?
for the uninitiated. That's his shoe he did with Nike before.
Really?
One of his shoes he did before he left to go to Adidas. And now they go for I'm pretty sure they go for $20,000.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What shoes called Red October?
They're called Red Octobers. That's the
Right.
model.
Yeah, no, Red Dragon is the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you if you prefer Julianne Moore or Jodie Foster.
I love playing this game. And what it boils down to in my head is who is a poor man's who for the actresses. Like a classic one is Isla Fisher and Amy Adams. But another one, which by the way, who do you think is the poor man's version of who?
Goodness. Isla Fisher. I mean, Amy Adams is a classic actress. She's been around for longer.
See, that's where I disagree. And I've had a lot of people say that Amy Adams is the poor man's Isla Fisher. But there's
Really?
also, like, another example. Do you know who Maya Rudolph is from SNL?
No, I recognize that name.
You'd know if you saw her. Anyway, maybe she's the poor man's Rashida Jones. If
Really?
that cements it in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm
okay,
talking about.
I think
I think
so.
she's in Bridesmaids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, wait, Julianne Moore and
Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster? Jodie Foster. Oh, no.
Because Jodie Foster plays Clarice Starling in
Are you
Silence
saying
of
for
the
that
Lambs.
role, or who do I
Well,
prefer in general?
For that role, but maybe in general as well. But you haven't seen Hannibal, so you haven't seen Julianne Moore as Clarice.
So it's a loaded question.
Well, it's not a loaded question.
I'll get back to you once I watch.
Yeah, you've got to watch it. Because
Julianne
I think
Moore
I
in
prefer
that role.
Julianne Moore.
So did they just bait and switch with the character?
Yeah, I think it was like offered to Jodie Foster, but she turned it down.
What does she hate? Making money and good movies?
I know. I don't think she should have turned it down, but I think Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling has like a sense of vulnerability about her and a bit of like emotional. She seems like emotionally damaged.
Yeah.
Whereas Julianne Moore is like way more of a badass and way hotter.
Yeah, Julianne Moore's definitely hotter. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the competition that we're playing. That's the game we're playing. She wins.
She
But
wins that.
I'll watch her in that role and then I'll tell you who's the poor man's who.
Yeah.
I still think Jodie Foster is the poor man's Julianne Moore.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I'm going to have to agree with you. But
You
also
should
I
come up with
feel-
some more. This is a hard game to play
This is a hard game.
with male actresses, I think. I think it's
Male
more of the time there's
actresses?
like male actresses. I said that correctly. I'm not going to repeat.
Male actors.
Actresses.
Okay.
They're both anyway. Everyone's an actor now. They've
Yeah,
pretty much done away
everything's
with that.
interchangeable.
It's like waitresses and stewardesses. Like it's not even. It's not
Yeah.
a thing.
No.
Is it air host? Is that what they're?
Yeah, air host, I
what
guess.
they're called?
Air person wouldn't be. It's a wait person.
Yeah, air servant.
Air servant. Yeah, sure. Air host.
Host sounds good. Steward maybe.
Why do you think it's hard to pay with male actors?
Well, I just don't think there's that many that are similar like that.
All the Ryans are similar.
All the Ryans.
Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds,
All the Chris's are
all
similar
the Chris's,
as well.
and all the Toms.
You're right there, actually.
But I don't
Well,
think...
I think it's more. You could do multiple. You could do like 3 or 4-way versions with guys because
Yeah.
all the Chris's, there's 4 of them, and they all look exactly the same.
So Chris Pine, Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Pratt and Chris.
He's obviously the poor man's
Chris,
one.
who
We
plays Captain America,
don't- Oh, Chris, fuck.
and he's in another teen movie.
Yeah,
Evans.
Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all so hot too.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah. It's stupid.
So stupid.
Chris Pine is cross-eyed Ryan Gosling. That's a fair assessment.
I love Chris Hemsworth.
Me too.
Not just because he's amazing looking,
What,
but he
no,
also seems like such a cool dude.
Yeah, all of his off-screen stuff is amazing.
Yeah. He's funny as
bit of a
fuck.
champ.
He's cool as fuck. He's like your average Aussie dad, but he's also like a superstar. And he's dating Jessie J now,
Is he?
apparently, according to the tabloids.
Who's
I
his
only
baby mama?
found- I can't remember her name. So they only divorced not long ago, maybe last year. She's hot as fuck. I think she's a dancer because she did, that lip syncing thing, that lip syncing TV show
Yeah,
or
I
whatever.
don't watch that.
It's great. You should.
No, it's
I don't
not.
watch
I've
it.
seen
but-
clips of it.
Oh, I'll see that.
I got
clip.
locked
I'll watch
into
the
some clips the
clips.
other night, and if whoever showed me those clips was listening to this now, I've got to admit something. I didn't enjoy it, despite pretending to at the
You
time.
don't enjoy lip syncing?
No.
Okay, so it's Jenna something. It's Jenna something. Jenna Duran Tatum or something like that. Anyway, so she's like a dancer. So she does her routine from Magic Mike. And she like pulls Chris into the routine and stuff and like dances on him.
Right.
It's hilarious.
Okay.
You, judging by your face right now, you'd hate it.
Oh yeah.
I
I'm glad
love
you're
watching
picking
lip
up on that.
syncing.
Why don't you just watch real syncing?
Because it's not
Like
as,
singing.
there's no novelty. It's just people singing.
What do you need novelty for? Can't you just appreciate good work?
I can absolutely appreciate good work,
No, you
but
can't.
sometimes I like to throw a little bit of comedy in there.
Actually, I will say I did watch Will Ferrell's one, and that was quite funny.
Yeah.
I'm not
Joseph-
even necessarily a huge Will Ferrell fan. So
Are you
it was-
not?
No, I don't hate him. I'm not somebody who like everything he does. I'm like, that's hilarious. That's a total knee slapper.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be a bit.
He's been playing the same character for
Yeah.
the last 20 years.
It's a great character.
Oh yeah, it ain't broke.
Yeah.
So are we done with celebrity news? Actually, while we're talking about the Hemsworths, I was pretty impressed with Liam Hemsworth and Miley C. After their house broke down in the
House breakdown. Burned down.
broke down in half.
Yeah, they donated like $500,000.
That's good. And they're back to. I didn't know they were dating again.
Yeah, I think they've been back together for like
They've
years.
been together forever.
Have you seen that like a really old photo of hers going around as a meme?
No,
You haven't seen it?
I don't think so.
So it's like this really old, like early 2000s photo of her like just staring into the camera, and so many people have made memes about it.
Great,
I'll put it in the show notes.
do it. Anything? I think that's pretty much it. Then we've really got up with the celebrity gossip for the week.
So last episode, I broke my laptop live on air.
Oh yeah, that was turned out to be very bad.
It did turn out to be quite bad. My computer didn't turn back on, but I got a new one.
We'll see if it improves your
Yeah,
storytelling.
maybe. So I think last episode, maybe there was like I wasn't as enthusiastic as I could have been telling my story.
I've never seen so much water go onto a laptop in a short amount of time. It was more water than would have been in that bottle, I think. You tipped it over for a second and 100 litres of water came out. I was soaked.
Yeah.
I was drenched.
And I was still hopeful that it would
I was
work.
gasping for air.
Yeah. So we drowned, but we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
All right. So we're definitely not taking turns. But would you like to go
You want me to go first?
first this time?
Did you go first last time?
Who knows?
Who
We're not
knows?
taking
No one
turns. I
knows.
did. We're not taking turns, but
Okay.
I did go first last time.
Okay, cool. I'll go first then. So this has it all. I think you really like this one. There's a little bit of cult elements, crazy religion fanatic. So this is the story of John Joe Gray.
It feels like you're pandering directly to me for this one.
Yeah.
I love all of it.
So this is kind of a story about John Joe Gray, but it also has disappearing children. We kind of know where the children are, but we can't get them to the rightful owner.
Yeah. But it really has a lot of chains of mystery checkboxes ticked.
Yeah. Cults,
impressive.
Disappearing, missing children, guns, biting cops, all of it. Alrighty, so the Embassy of Heaven, which is, well, it's also known as God's Government on Earth, is a Christian-based new religious movement based in Staten, Oregon. Otherwise, aka cult. It's a cult. So members reject all ties to secular government, or what they call worldly governments, and they profess to be literal citizens of the kingdom of heaven. They issue their own identity documents, including passports and driver's licenses and business documents and all that kind of shit.
Great.
So they're like their own little functioning society,
Do you know,
I guess, of just fucking crazy people.
Yeah. You know there's a version of that in Australia? There's
there?
a country. They have like a king and everything.
Yes.
Actually, is it? I wonder if it's enough of a mystery.
It's in WA?
To do, yeah.
Yeah.
On this, do you think it's enough of a mystery to do an episode about it? Well, I don't think we really. I'll do it.
It's just like one family, isn't it?
What's a community? I think
Yeah.
there's more than one family there.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is when secular people advocate for the separation of church and state, it rings no alarm bells. But once you have somebody who's religious,
Yeah.
who's advocating for the separation of church and state, you have got to look out.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's like people who, we'll see if I edit this out or not. People of other races, when they talk about racism, it's obviously fine. You're like, okay, great, you're bringing awareness to the situation. But when a white person talks about racism against white people, you've got to look out.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't have that.
No, absolutely not. Racism against white people?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Well, it's the same thing as religious people who want separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Because from their perspective, you don't need it. But from a secular perspective, they have a good argument.
Yeah, for sure. So it just screams crazy. No, issuing your own passports? How?
You can't do that.
You can't, surely. So the group's leader is Craig Douglas Fleshman, who is a former Oregon State computer systems analyst who goes by the name Pastor Paul Revere. So the story's not about the cult, but I just want to explain the cult.
Just paint the picture.
So in 1998, 48-year-old John Joe Gray, along with his family, became members of the church or cult, a religious movement, if you will. So there's conflicting stories about what happened with John Joe Gray and the police. So I went to the Embassy of Heaven Church's blog, and this is what they said happened. So after John and his family joined or became members, the Texas government launched an attack on the Grays to prevent them from joining. They sent swarms of police to persecute the Grays. Several church vehicles were stolen, and they provoked Gray to bite a policeman, which, according to the blog, is a natural defense mechanism.
No, it's not.
The
If you're
website
a dog, it is.
Yeah. The website states, quote, they successfully created an incident in order to manufacture secular felony charges, end quote. So another more likely story, which is on Wikipedia, is that during a traffic stop in Anderson County, Gray attacked Texas trooper Jim Cleland. A struggle ensued after Cleland reached for a .357 caliber handgun in the car in which Gray was in. Anti-government pamphlets and references to setting off a bomb on a highway overpass near Dallas were found in the vehicle. and Gray was charged with 2 felonies, assault of a public servant and taking a police officer's weapon. After promising to have no access to weapons while awaiting hearing, Gray was let out on bail. So I think that's probably more likely what happened to get Gray into trouble than the Texas government just launching an attack on them. But unclear.
Well, depending on your standpoint.
Yeah. I find it really bizarre that was on. So I went to the church's website and because obviously there's been that connection. They've been connected with John Joe Gray. So they answered all these questions on their blog.
I'm surprised they answered that as well. They're almost
very active on their blog.
It's almost commendable.
Yeah.
But it also seems very stupid.
But also that's obviously
who doesn't say
bullshit.
silent about it? Yeah, exactly. Come up with a better lie or stay silent.
Yeah.
They didn't even try to fabricate any good evidence.
No.
Which is what I would have done.
It's a completely different story to the one that obviously actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the rules of...
And do they know that you can just change... Anybody can change Wikipedia?
Yeah.
But also there's probably people on the other side that keep changing it back.
So one of the rules of the Embassy of Heaven Church is not to take up weapons against your enemies. So Gray, believing that the police and government were after him and his family, thought that the only way for him to defend his family, property, and himself was to use firearms and therefore disassociate from the church. So him and his family left the church soon after this incident. So after failing to appear in court on the charges, Gray barricaded himself in his 50-acre wooded ranch, refused to leave the property, and threatened violence. Hey, Puss.
It's our special guest once again.
Threatened violence against any trespassers. At the time, at least a dozen of Gray's family members were holed up in the compound, and they haven't left since.
They're still there.
They're still there.
Must have a lot of baked beans in the basement.
So Gray sent a threatening letter to the local police saying that if police were to come to his property, they would need to bring extra body bags. So law enforcement didn't visit the compound for fear of a deadly shootout, and the standoff continued until this year when Texas authorities dropped the charges against Gray.
Sorry, how long was the standout, or when all was said and done?
15 years.
Wow.
17 years or something.
This is another example of one of the guys who's already written the dialogue for his own movie.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
you come, bring extra body bags.
Definitely. But, so in Texas, the Waco siege?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was only 6 years before, and it was right near Gray's compound.
It's interesting that you mentioned that.
Is it?
Put a tab on it for later.
Is that what you're doing?
No.
Okay. It's crazy that you can just get away with doing that.
It's interesting the police were just like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't want what happened at Waco to happen again. Yeah. They knew that he had fucking all these weapons.
I think if they thought that he wasn't much of a risk to the public, they would have been more inclined to leave it.
Yeah.
He wasn't really threatening violence against other people.
Yeah, you're right.
But also, it's wild. I don't think that would fly in Australia. Well, because having weapons is kind of...
I don't think it would happen in
generally
Australia.
Illegal anyway.
This screams America to me.
Yeah.
This guy is just what you think of when you think of a redneck American.
Yeah.
So when John left the church and fled to his compound, he took his wife Alicia, their daughters Elizabeth and Ruth, son Jonathan, and Jonathan's pregnant wife Cassie, plus their 3 children, Melissa, Jessica, and Bubba. In 2004, a documentary was made called America's Fugitive Family, which followed the lives of the Grays in their compound. The family are all trained to use guns, hunt their own meat, and source all their own food, but have no running water or electricity.
It sounds like an interesting / hilarious documentary.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of it?
No. I kind of ran out of time, but maybe we should have a movie marathon night.
Yeah. I think those... I'm pretty much watching it for comedic value. The ones about people who are crazy are amazing. There's this series on TLC, the Learning Channel in America, called Extreme Cheapskates, and it is hilarious.
So just people...
If anybody is looking for a laugh, do yourself a favour and go and watch Extreme Cheapskates.
Is it just people trying to spend as little money as possible?
Yep. it's like the tightest. It's a show about the tightest people in the world,
I love it.
and they have normal families who are just regular people, and they like hate them.
Well,
for
I
it.
remember years ago, I was watching like an episode of the Kardashians or something, and one of them, Kourtney Kardashian, got into like extreme couponing. So much so that she'd like go to coupon meetups and like trade coupons with others and stuff.
I haven't seen that episode. I really need to watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's
mental.
what it's like. A lot of these people are
Yeah.
extreme couponers. And the insane thing about it is that they spend so much time couponing and doing all this stuff to save money. It's like if you just went and got a job
Yeah.
and worked those hours regularly, you wouldn't need to
You
be
wouldn't
cheap
need
because you'd be
to.
making more money than you're saving.
Yeah.
Like spending an hour. This one guy spends an hour, so he buys 2-ply toilet paper and then separates the 2 plies and re-rolls each ply single ply, so he gets double toilet paper for the money. And he'll spend an hour deplying and
goodness, man.
re-rolling 2
If you
rolls.
work
It's
for
like-
an hour, you can buy like
and a roll
3.
of toilet paper is like
Yeah.
20 cents. If you get a job that pays you $10, you can buy like 50 toilet rolls.
Quick maths. Yeah, that's insane. There is something. I'm terrible with money. I'm not a cheapskate whatsoever. But there is something satisfying about saving, saving, like having things in bulk.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we had. We don't have it on the same scale here. I wish we had like more Costco's.
Yeah,
That was accessible.
yeah. Is Costco like a bulk?
It's somewhere.
Stuff.
It's somewhere where you can buy air conditioners in bulk. If that gives you an idea of what kind of stuff they sell.
Wow. So yeah, they have no running water or electricity, which is insane. What do the kids do? So they're all heavily religious, obviously, and heavily anti-government. The children are homeschooled, and Grandma Alicia said in the documentary that there's no way she would want to see the children in the public system. She said, quote, "All they're taught, and I'll put this as nicely as possible, is how to be homos," end quote.
How to be what?
Homos.
Oh wait, so she's not on board with it? Oh my gosh.
All they're taught in school is how to be gay, is what she's saying.
Right. I need to meet old Nance. She sounds amazing. Also, that's a bold strategy for those kids. Let's see how that works out.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be perfectly well adjusted.
The kids?
They could not be. I'm sure they'll reintegrate with society very well.
They'll be fine. So they've got signs posted all over the property that read, "We are the militia. We will live free or die." And disobedience to tyranny is obedience to God. And vaccination equals annihilation.
I was just thinking, I really hope these people are also anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, they're anti-vaxxers.
Thank
for sure,
God.
obviously. So I've watched a couple of documentaries on vaccinations, and I'm not saying I'm an anti-vaxxer, but I'm saying if I was to ever have children, which I won't, hopefully, I would be looking into it a lot more. I wouldn't just be going, yeah, I'll vaccinate my children just because it's the norm.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm not crazy, I swear. So Gray and his family so they're not part of the Embassy of Heaven Church, but they still practice all the same, church shit, the same beliefs and whatever. So Gray has another daughter named Lisa, who didn't live on the compound at the time and was married to a man named Keith Tarkington. Keith and Lisa met on a blind date arranged by a mutual friend, and they fell in love. That's the end of the story.
So did she get out? She was...
So she wasn't in the compound at the time.
Yeah.
So in 1995, they married, and they were living in a small house that was rented from Lisa's father, with their 2 sons, Joe and Samuel. Keith remembers his father-in-law being a bit of a religious extremist, but says at the time there was no evidence to suggest that he was interested in militia activities. However, that changed about 6 months after he and Lisa married. John's religious rantings became more frequent, and he threw himself heavily into the activities of the Texas Constitutional Militia. He began dressing in fatigues and camouflage and got heaps more weapons and started referring to himself as Colonel Gray.
Excellent.
Which, he's obviously a man of sound mind.
Clearly.
If you
This
study,
is the kind of person you want to have a lot of weapons in their hands.
yeah, absolutely. I feel like if someone starts calling themselves Colonel, that's lock them away.
Well, yeah, it's obvious it's a problem, but it's also... I just imagine how easy for it would be for something like that to happen to my dad, and I think yeah, he's probably not far off. He's one traumatic event away from being Colonel Hamilton.
Is he?
I think so.
Is he a bit of a religious fanatic?
Oh, but not from a religious perspective. I don't think that would be his problem. I just think him as a person would be susceptible to
Really?
doing that.
Well, John Wayne Gacy, so he worked in like a KFC and he made everyone, John Wayne Gacy, the serial killer.
That's how he got his name, isn't it? John Wayne KFC.
I hope that's the first time that joke's ever been made. I love it.
Me too.
Trademark. He made everyone call him Colonel, the Colonel at work, which I think is actually pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. I would do that if I worked at KFC.
Because he's like a child killer. It's horrible and he's crazy, but it's funny. So Gray began to urge Lisa and Keith to join his, fucking whatever he's got going on. His religious and malicious shit.
Join the gang.
But Keith told John he wasn't interested and also urged Lisa to stay away from it. After a while, though, Lisa began spending more and more time at her parents' house, causing Keith to feel like John was trying to drive a wedge between him and his wife. And then, on Lisa's 29th birthday, the couple were out for dinner and were pulled over on their way home. Keith had a number of unpaid fines, and the couple were driven to the local police station. And Lisa became aggressive and uncooperative, refusing to give her full name and date of birth, and started ranting about anti-government shit and, calling everything like the system. And she became like super hostile, and they jailed her, chucked her in jail.
Hope Keith's got a prenup.
And then the next day, her mother came to take her home, but took her back to like their place, the compound. And then Keith went up there to pick up Lisa. And so I guess John and Lisa's mum were looking after the kids when they went on their date. So the boys were up there and Lisa was up there. So Keith went to get them, and Lisa told Keith that she wasn't coming home with him. And she brought like the boys out to say goodbye to their dad. And he could only like hug them through a gate, like through a fence. And John was like standing nearby with like a rifle slung over his shoulder and shit.
This is the problem. This is the opposite of what I wanted to happen to Lisa.
What did you want to happen to Lisa?
Because she was out of it.
Yeah.
She wasn't there. I thought she'd escaped.
No.
But she's getting sucked in. The opposite of what I wanted.
Well, Keith in like some places said like the brainwashing started 6 months later. So I guess John kind of got to her. I mean, if your dad's, he's obviously quite a powerful person. If your dad, the person that you look up to and the person that you fucking love more than anyone else, is telling you that the government's after you and the government's bad and stuff, you're probably going to be like, oh, okay.
If I was in America too, I probably would. The Australian government's so lazy. I'd be like, no, they're not.
Doesn't happen.
They're not even doing their regular job. They're not on top of that.
Do we
going
even have
to be
a prime minister at the moment?
after me. Who knows?
Exactly. So shortly after that, Keith filed for divorce, and Lisa didn't appear in court for the hearings, and she wasn't represented by an attorney as the divorce was granted, and legal custody of the children was awarded to Keith. John Gray claims that Lisa, Joe, and Samuel don't live on the ranch, and there's been no sightings of Lisa or the children since.
So he just never got to see his kids again.
He's never seen his kids again.
That's so sad.
So he has no idea what's happened to his kids. It is widely believed that if they don't live at John's compound, which no one knows. I mean, John could say that for sure because police aren't going to go there.
Yeah.
But if they're not living there, they're living with members of the Embassy of Heaven Church.
It's a huge problem. They should have busted down the gates straight after the day he couldn't find the kids.
I know, but I just think that John would open fire. And like there apparently has been like, other militia groups coming in to fucking do whatever they have to do, have meetings or whatever at Joe's John's compound. And for a while there, like, there was militia people, like, guarding the gates 24 hours a day, that kind of shit. Like, it's a bit risky.
Yeah, it's red hot.
So, yeah, court has authorised deputies to take the children from Lisa, but no one's been able to. And that's the story
Far out.
of John Joe Gray.
I would have expected... I don't know why. I just expected the cops to do more than that.
Yeah.
Because they're kids. And they've
They
got... the guy, he's got legal custody.
Yeah, I kind of see it from both sides. Like, I've read a couple of things about Keith being like, the police have done nothing, which it sounds like they have done nothing. But then also, it's pretty obvious what would happen if the police went to the compound.
But, like, they've got drones and stuff. Just do... You can't bring guns to a drone fight.
What do you mean they've got drones?
They've got drones. You don't need to send people in. Like, you could just send in drones.
And then what?
Just be like, well, we've got a ton of bombs we're going to drop on the house if you don't let the kids go. Who are we going to fire at then?
I don't know. I just feel like when you're dealing with someone like this crazy fucking...
He'd probably call their bluff.
Yeah. I don't know.
So when did the... how long ago did he get custody of his kids? Like, how long have they been in the compound for?
So this all happened, like... all at once, pretty much. So in 1998 is when John had that altercation and, like, was meant to go to court and shit.
Yeah.
And then Keith and Lisa divorced in 1999 or 2000.
Okay. Yeah, so and then after all that time, they were just like, all right, we're chill. Truce.
Yeah.
That's interesting because the kids would be, like, adults, fully grown adults.
Yeah.
Now. And what I kind of understand from their perspective... that they could have easily been turned against the rest of the world and probably the first generation of kids as well, because I can't remember the name of the girl who it happened to, but she was one of those people who had been kept in a basement since she was a
sorts
kid.
Of stories.
And you hear
so
about
dark.
and they're weirdly
They're
happen
so tragic.
all the time.
Yeah.
But one of the girls was locked in the basement, but she also was allowed to leave the house sometimes, but she was constantly getting brainwashed in the house that everybody else in the outside world was against her and everybody was spying on her and the government was always looking at her and stuff. And she just believed it. She didn't even try and run away from the family or tell them, and she would be able to leave the house on her own.
Yeah.
And she was just so convinced that everybody was out to get her and was a government informant.
Yeah.
She just didn't even bother. Like, she just would come back to the house.
The story of the lady in the box. The lady that was kept in a box. So she was, like, hitchhiking and this guy with his wife and baby, like, picked her up, took her back to their place, like, locked her in a box, kept her there for, like, years, ended up being, but, like, raped her and whatever else. And brainwashed her to think that, I think they called it, like, the company, that, like, he was a part of this big old thing called the company. And so if she ever tried to, like, escape, or so she was like, she would go and get their groceries and stuff, but the company were always watching her. And he even took her back to, like, her parents' place, like, as her boyfriend, and they had, like, dinner and shit.
I think we might be talking about the same person.
Yeah.
I think you just know more about it than I do.
Yeah,
Geez, we should do an episode on that.
we should. But then
We should do a team episode on that.
we
I
should.
want to learn about it as well.
But she ended up getting out of it and survived it.
All right.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's intense.
So horrible. People are fucked.
In saying that, I probably wouldn't be any better in that situation.
What do you mean?
Like, after 5 minutes, I'd be like, this box isn't too bad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mess around with the company. I think I would be
well,
like...
that's the thing. Like, it's so easy to manipulate people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm of
scary.
sound mind, but I don't think I'm...
Yeah.
Like,
but it doesn't
immune
take
to it.
much. That's like all these people that are fucking in cults and Scientologists and stuff. They are lawyers and fucking, like, they're smart people.
Yeah.
That have just somehow been convinced of all this bullshit.
I know plenty of people who, in my mind, I'm like, you just haven't been approached by the right cult yet, but you would be in a second.
Definitely.
You haven't been approached by Isogenics
I've had, like,
yet.
a few people that I've worked with that I've been like, and, like, they seem kind of lost.
Yeah.
So, like, if they met someone from a cult or a fucking pyramid scheme or something, they'd have them around their finger instantly.
It can go either way, though. And people like that sometimes find something really good to latch onto and then just end up killing it.
Yeah. See, I like to think that I'm of sound mind, but even watching Going Clear, like the Scientology documentary, I was like, I can see how this would be convincing.
Yeah.
When they're promising you the world, it's convincing.
Maybe we should go and try and get people to brainwash us and see what the impacts are. Or is that a risk you're not willing to take?
No, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it.
You can go and put on a undercover recording and go to a Scientology meeting. See how convincing they really are.
There's a Church of Scientology in Sydney, isn't there?
Yeah, there'd have to be.
There's probably one in Brisbane.
I think there's one in Brisbane.
We should go.
We should go.
And pretend we want to join.
Yeah. You know what is the least cool cult? I don't know if it's even a cult. The Freemasons. They're all nerds.
It's just fucking frat boys.
Well, not even that. I think they're more nerds than frat boys.
Yeah.
They're very uncool.
Well, I don't really understand, because is Freemasonry or whatever, is that part of like New World Order?
I'm not sure. I'm out of my depth already. I just know they're losers.
I think it's like pretty much a frat house.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much the idea.
Yeah. No girls allowed.
No. You guys need to get up to some more devious activities.
Yeah. So that's our religious nut, John Joe Gray.
Great. So very interesting. Let's go and have a break. I'm going to go and heat my tea up.
Cool.
The optimum temperature. No flag yet. You bloody ready for this or not?
I'm ready. I was born ready. Are you ready?
I was not born ready, but I'm ready now.
You ready now?
Yeah. I've had 25 years to prepare.
It's almost your birthday.
I think I'm ready. It is almost my birthday. Somebody send me something. We have no P.O. box.
To you.
Thanks.
You'll be 25.
This might be coming out on my birthday, this episode.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, it might be coming out a day or two before.
Everyone send
me a happy birthday DM when this comes out.
Yeah, perfect.
To the Chains of Mystery podcast Instagram.
Which is Chains of Mystery podcast.
On Instagram.
Or you can send us an email at chainsofmystery@gmail.com.
Flawless.
If you want. We also have a Facebook page. Chains of Mystery podcast.
In case there are any listeners over 95. That one's for you. Also, any advertisers. You see how smooth our segues are into advertising things? Hit us up. We've said in the past we'd be interested in Qantas or Ferrari. Nobody else. I'm not willing to compromise.
You're not willing? What about Tesla?
Oh, yeah. You've called my bluff. I would allow Tesla to advertise. Elon, if you're listening.
Hit us up.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to be talking about the Marree Man. The Marree Man. Off to a good start.
Yep.
On the pronunciation front. Do you know about this?
Nope.
Okay. I'm just going to launch straight into it then. On a plateau in Finnis Springs, 60 kilometres west of the township of Marree in central South Australia. Bringing it home again.
I love it.
The world's largest geoglyph is etched into the dry sand of the barren outback. The enormous work of art, known as the Marree Man or Stuart's Giant, depicts an Indigenous Australian man hunting with a boomerang or a stick. Unlike other anthropomorphic... I think I nailed that first try.
Well
anthropomorphic.
Done. Good work.
It's better than the first one. Geoglyphs found around the world, which are generally constructed by ancient civilizations. The Marree Man was carved into the landscape only 20 years ago.
Oh.
On top of that, and despite being so large that it is visible from space,
What?
to this day, its creator and the reason for its construction remains unknown.
Wowee.
Let that sink
You can
in.
see it from space.
Yeah.
It's a drawing.
It's huge. it's a geoglyph. So
Okay.
I'm glad you asked. What is a geoglyph? You didn't ask, but I knew you were going to say it. A geoglyph is a large design, generally longer than 4 meters, a lot longer than 4 meters in this case, produced on the ground and typically formed by rocks or similarly durable elements of the landscape, such as stone, fragments, live trees, gravel, or earth. There are a few types. There's positive geoglyphs, which are formed by the arrangement and alignment of materials on the ground, and negative geoglyphs, which are formed by removing materials to exposed bare ground underneath. There's also 3D geoglyphs, which are a combination of the two, and then a few other variations as well. This is a negative geoglyph.
Mm-hmm.
So, on June 26th in 1998, a charter pilot named Trevor Wright was flying between the townships of Marree and Coober Pedy when he spotted the towering figure in the landscape below. The figure is 4.2 kilometres tall, 2.6 miles, with a perimeter of 28 kilometres, 17.4 miles.
Oh my goodness.
At the time of the discovery, the outline was 30 centimetres, 12 inches deep, and up to 35 metres or 114 feet wide. And you might be asking, how come you're giving us all the imperial measurements for that? Well, hold your little horses. It'll come back in a second.
Okay.
Any comments or anything so far? It's pretty crazy, right?
It is insane.
Did you
I
hear
have
what I just
questions,
said? 4.2 kilometres tall.
Hang on, tall?
Tall.
Like above, like coming out of the ground?
No. It's
On the
a
ground.
person. So he's 4.2 kilometres tall, but it's like on the ground.
But it's like on the ground.
Yeah. Etched into the ground.
Etched into the ground, yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Crazy.
I want to know what they think made it.
Yeah.
Will you answer that question?
I've got some answers.
Cool. Does aliens come into it?
It's one of the theories.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so surveyors speculate that the figure was made by a bulldozer and could have taken weeks to complete, which was pretty underwhelming.
Was it made on like private property?
No one claims to have seen or heard a thing. It's not on private property. It's on protected native title land. But it's on like a huge reserve. I think it was something like 127,000 acres.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not necessarily it's not private property.
Okay.
Which factors into it later on as well.
Yeah.
There was a single track leading into and out of the site, but no other tire marks or footprints were discernible.
Footprints.
That's very close. Then I footprinted it right at the end.
Hang on. So there were no tire tracks or footprints? There's just just worn out grass or something?
Just a track, I think the same as the rest of it, like the 30 centimetres deep and 35 metres wide.
Goodness me.
A thorough police search at the time of the discovery resulted in no significant findings.
Nada.
Nothing. Very sneaky. Not long after its discovery, several press releases were sent to the media from an anonymous source.
Oh my gosh.
A number of features of the writings seemed to point to a foreign author. The letter quoted measurements in miles, yards, and inches instead of the metric system, which is used in Australia and literally everywhere except the US,
America.
Liberia, and Myanmar. Those are the three countries that still use the imperial system, which is
silly.
a weird bunch.
So silly.
So that's why I was saying stuff in imperial measurements before. In addition to this, a number of phrases and names that were used in the letters, such as the Queensland Barrier Reef and local indigenous territories, are not terms that are used by Australians. Queensland Barrier Reef, definitely not used by Australians.
Definitely not.
And I think tourists should probably get that right as well.
Red herring, perhaps?
My immediate thought. And I got very excited about it. If I wasn't locked in that I was going to choose this one, as soon as I read that, I was like, potential red herring?
Yeah.
Check.
You love a red herring.
Yep. I love a
Do you
red
think it's because you're
herring.
a redhead?
Yep. I think it plays directly into that. So, items found in a small pit at the site add to the mystery, which include a satellite photo of the figure. This is in 1998. Satellite photos. Pretty sure Google Earth wasn't around then.
There was a satellite photo found at the site.
Of the figure.
Oh my God, it's got chills. That's so weird.
A jar containing a small flag of the United States and a note which referred to the Branch Davidians, a cult group that was based on a property near Waco, Texas. The cult had been raided in 1993, which is 6 to 8 months before...
No, 6 years before.
6 years, that's what I said. Leading to the death of the cult leader, David Koresh, as well as 82 other Branch Davidian followers. And also, I realised that I'm probably going to do an episode on the Branch Davidians.
Yeah, well, when I came into my story as well.
I nearly jumped ship as soon as I read that.
Yeah. Well, did you know that David Krosh, whatever his name is a singer and guitarist?
No.
Charles Manson sort of style.
Huh.
I want to listen to his music.
Me too.
We can have a listen.
This opened up. We probably got 5-10 mysteries out of this episode.
Yeah.
It's more
how do you even take a satellite image? You can't.
No. Big Kodak, maybe?
What the fuck?
Yeah. So in January of 1999, officials found a small plaque buried close to the nose of the figure. It was an American flag with an imprint of the Olympic rings and a quote from the Red Center by H.H. Finlayson. 2 initials in the last name, by the way.
Oh, who's he?
An author. I think he was an Australian author or a poet, which read, and he didn't even know it, in honor of the land they once knew. His attainments in these pursuits are extraordinary and a constant source of wonderment and admiration. The quote comes from a page of text that describes the hunting of wallabies with throwing sticks and contained photographs of hunters that looked similar to the Marree Man. They look very similar. In fact, they'll be in the show notes, so you'll be able to see it. Investigators tried unsuccessfully to piece together the odd collection of clues. However, some suggested they may have been planted as red herrings to divert attention away from the real creator. Genius.
I'm still can't get past the fact that there was a satellite image.
That's a real spin out. For the rest of it, I've kind of been able to get on board with, but the satellite image is a problem.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How?
I don't know. The government would have had satellite then.
So the government
unless
did
they
it.
had some involvement.
The government did it. It's an inside job. But
Potentially.
why?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they were just so overdoing
Maybe they
shitty
was
stuff. They were
bored.
like,
Yeah.
we'll give something back.
We'll give the
We'll
people something to
graffiti
talk
some
about
native title. And
when no one's hurt or anything.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
It's a bit of fun. Moving on to the theories while we're speaking about it.
Yeah.
So rumours were quick to spread around the tiny town of Marree. By the way, I'm saying township, but the population of this place is 60 people that live there.
There's 60 people that live there.
Kind of more impressive.
The town
60
did it
people.
all together.
That I had that thought as well, which is another one of the boxes that are checked. You know how much I love a whole town being in on something, and for there to be 60 people there and for no one to know, I just don't buy
And no
it.
one to see
I lived in a
anything.
small town. I'm talking small as in like 15, 20,000, and everybody knew everything. If somebody had done something like that, no way you'd be able to keep it in a secret. Keep it a secret in a town that size, let alone 60 people. They definitely all know who did it.
Yeah.
And they're definitely all
Crazy.
murderers.
Yeah.
And co-conspirators, like in Hot Fuzz, which you need to watch.
Yes.
Some people suggested that the creation of the geoglyph was a stunt pulled by a local scenic flight operator who served to profit from the tourism generated by its discovery. Which local charter flights did work overtime in the wake of the discovery to meet the demand for joyrides to see the figure. Not a bad idea.
No.
Probably a bit costly as a marketing campaign, but if all the charter flight guys, pulled their piggy banks,
Yeah.
they might have been able to get a dozer for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
What? Were you going to say something? You don't like it, do you? They're not alien enough.
It's just silly.
It's a
There's other
bit
ways
silly.
to make money.
Yeah.
Obviously, but it's just not how much money are you going to make?
Well, yeah.
Couple
So I
of
wonder
thousand?
how much profit are you making per?
How much does it cost to hire a bulldozer?
I don't think you're getting out of making this thing for under 10k at least
Yeah.
in 93, 96, 98. That's what I said. I'm going to leave 98 in there, definitely. Guess which other two are getting edited out. Other figures began circulating that the Marree Man was the work of extraterrestrials, or a warning to politician Pauline Hanson regarding racist comments made about Indigenous Australians, which actually give that a bit of credence now I think about it as well. I don't like her.
How?
How what?
How
How's that
is it-
revenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And that's quite an abstract way of trying to get a message to Pauline Hanson.
Well, some say the pen is mightier than the sword. Maybe a big figure in the dirt is mightier than racism.
Maybe.
I think I just like the idea of somebody
Yeah.
getting back at Pauline Hanson.
Oh, absolutely. I just think there's
More effective ways to
more
do it.
direct ways to do it.
Well, how would you go about it, you terrorist?
I'd write her a strongly worded email.
Yeah, she would definitely read that. As if. She got yours going straight to junk.
I'd write a song.
That's not bad. One of my friends makes quilts.
Really?
Like political quilts. And she
Really?
gets like a fair bit of recognition for it.
What's her name?
Tal Fitzpatrick. You should look her up.
Does she sell her stuff?
No, I think it's like big ticket items that then go on display at like political events and
Oh, wow.
yeah. It's
Tal
full on.
is George's girlfriend.
Yes.
I know Tal. Didn't know that she did that.
Very relatable section of the podcast for everybody. Tal
Yeah.
is George's girlfriend in case everyone was wondering. You know George. Of course you do.
Of course you do.
A more plausible theory, which you're not going to like this because it's not aliens and it's plausible, is that the the artwork was created by Bardius Goldberg, excellent name, an Australian artist. And I've capitalized artist there. That's not how you spell it. I must have just been like on a capitalization roll. Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
it feels really good.
It does.
To like hit that shift key.
Yeah.
I mustn't be able to pull myself away from it. Oh, sidebar. I've got another note-taking method.
Yeah.
I think I'm up to probably method number 10 for the podcast, and I don't intend on slowing down. I'm going to try every single
We haven't even done
note-taking
10
method.
episodes.
But they don't know that. Well, they'll see 9 on the
Yeah.
episode. They do know that. Next
I
week,
think
I'll be
you've
carving
done-
it into a stone tablet.
Nice. I reckon you've done like a different note-taking method for every episode.
I literally don't think I've done one twice.
Yeah.
Actually, no, handwritten notes I've done twice.
Oh, you did do that
But
twice.
it's for every other one, it's been something different.
Yeah. What do you like so far?
I don't hate this, to be honest.
Printing it out?
But also, I think I might have been misguided in how long it was going to take me to get through it on typing. I had a really good judgment with handwriting. I knew how long it was going to get me.
Yeah.
And this might be a short one.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm getting to all
Mine
the
was a
facts.
short one
I'm
too.
blasting through it.
Yeah.
Feel free to interject with 10 to 15 minutes of freeform comedy if you've got it.
I'll see what I can
Or we
rustle
can
up.
do some spoken word for 30 minutes at the end.
I'm sure we can find something to talk about.
Not likely. An Australian artist, capital A, who had expressed interest in creating a work visible from space. When questioned about it, he would neither confirm nor deny whether he had created the Marree Man. You might have noticed that it sounds like I really want to say Murray.
It sounds like you want to say Murray, but then also Marie.
Marie. Guess how it's spelt though.
I just assumed Murry.
So wrong. Marree. It's kind of ambiguous.
Oh, Marie.
Marie. So I'm going to keep switching between the two to really piss everyone off.
M-A.
R.
R-E-E.
T-E-E-R. I feel like Templeton the rat from Charlotte the Web trying to... What is he tells them how to spell terrific?
I'm not sure. Sing it for me.
I feel like I've already embarrassed myself enough from the first little rendition of it. But his song when he comes back from the fair and he's eaten all the food is
I don't
so
remember
good.
it.
And he goes, a fair is a fair, it's a veritable smorgasbord. Blah, 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 blah. I don't remember the rest of the lyrics, but it's a banger.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, and he's got like a big sloshy stomach and he's doing the walk.
From what
so
movie?
good.
Charlotte's Web,
The animated version of Charlotte's Web.
which was done not too long ago.
No, this was the first one. So it would have been 80s or 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But it was after Babe, wasn't it?
It might have even been before that.
Really?
What year was Babe? Was that early 90s?
I'm not sure. But
Anyway,
I
everyone
went-
should go and watch the animated Templeton the rat song from the fair, at least as on YouTube, but then also watch the full Charlotte's Web, the old animated one. It's worth it.
Yeah. Dad reckons that I have been vegetarian since I was like 5 or something. And Dad says it's when I saw Babe.
Right.
After I saw Babe, I didn't want to eat meat.
Have you read Charlotte's Web?
No.
It's a bit late now, but it's probably not going to hit the mark, but it was, I really liked it when I was a kid.
I can tell. Your face lit up.
I knew the songs. I don't know the songs from
I
any
know.
movies except for Milan.
Go on.
Wow, I'm really giving a lot of personal information right now. I need to stop. Well,
Can you
the
sing us a
classic,
tune for
the
Milan?
I'll make a man out
Oh,
of you, and then, well, there's plenty more, but I'll leave it there. I'm singing quite a lot. So the Marree Man, he wouldn't admit whether he created it or not.
Why?
Goldberg passed away in 2002, and according to the mayor of Kangaroo Island, very Australian place, by the way.
Is that off of Adelaide?
Oh, sure.
Cool.
You sound like you know more about it than I do.
I've heard it's been said.
Peter Clements, who was the mayor, he said that Bardius Goldberg confessed on his deathbed that he created the Marree Man. So deathbed
would he know
confession, which
that?
is another thing that I like.
Why would he know that?
Because he was with him on his deathbed.
Why was he with him?
Just holding a pillow over his head. You know, stuff that you do.
If that's a legit deathbed confession, I love it.
Me too. I love deathbed confessions.
Yeah.
We haven't had nearly enough of them on the podcast so far.
Well,
I got into the podcast game for deathbed confessions.
Yeah.
You might not know that about me.
No.
But it's the truth.
I don't know any deathbed confession stories.
It didn't. Oh, there's rumors that L. Ron Hubbard said that Scientology was bullshit on his deathbed.
Shut up. Really?
There'd be no way to verify that. And it also sounds like the kind of lie that people who are opposed to Scientology would come up with. Because, well, also,
And also,
the guy was a
does he
fiction writer.
He was a fucking science fiction writer.
He wrote more fictional stories than anybody else who's ever existed. And then just said one of them was true and a million people were like, okay.
Insane.
No red flags here.
Yeah. He doesn't need to say that it's bullshit for people to know it's bullshit.
No. We've taken a real strong stance against Scientology on this podcast.
Yeah,
and there's
we have.
nothing wrong with it. No one's going to be like, oh my gosh, they're shaming Scientologists. I won't listen to this. Everyone loves it. Let's be honest.
Everyone loves it. Everyone loves shaming Scientologists. It's so with huge cults like that, it's crazy to believe that they actually have so many followers because every single person that you meet, it says that it's insane.
Yeah. I've never even met a Scientologist.
No, me
One that
neither.
I've known about. And I imagine they
Or
would tell
even
you.
a person that would be like, that's like, oh, I get it.
No.
Or anything.
100% of the general consensus is they're crazy.
That it's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Not like other religions where people are like, just let them do their thing. They're not hurting
Yeah.
anybody. Everyone's like, Scientology can off.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think that we should go on an excursion.
I think so as well. We should do a special ep about Scientology. It would definitely be at least a 2-parter.
Yeah.
But if we end up just doing one part, don't quote me on that. Because I do what I want.
Yeah.
And I love locking myself into things and they're not coming good on it. All my friends know that. Some of them are even still friends. Others have suggested that members of either the Australian Army or American soldiers stationed nearby in Woomera are responsible.
What? For what purpose? Just for fun?
They mustn't have been doing anything. You're not seeing any.
They've
You're not
got
seeing
nothing
any
better to
action
do.
in the barren wasteland of Central South Australia. That's for
No.
sure. That actually kind of makes sense. It kind of seems like the thing a bunch of bored Americans or army guys would do.
I'm gonna Google the Marree Man right now.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to continue talking about it. The giant geoglyph of the Marree Man quickly became an icon of the small South Australian township and a popular tourist destination. By 2015, the famous carving could barely be seen, and while the site had never been accessible to the general public as it falls on native tidal lands, natural erosion had caused the figure to fade. There was some government involvement. I think there was a battle going on for this native title status at the time, and then some members of the government had said that it was environmental vandalism, and it was a bit of an issue because it was a native title land.
Yeah.
And they were going to just let it fade. Something happened, and they were able to, in August 2016, carry out work to redefine the geoglyph using a grader, which was assisted by a GPS. Which, coming off of that, though, as a result of that, the people who did the work, well, they made it match the original, so it was the same spec, so you can see it from space again. The people who did the work said that it couldn't have been created without at least GPS technology, which in 1998 was like very, very new. Like, again, the same thing as satellite imagery. It would have been like government level. Definitely wasn't on like a grader that you could buy. Now all of the Earthworks machines have GPS.
Doing something that
technology.
huge would take planning as well.
Yeah.
Like you would need to map out where you're going to put each leg. If you were just doing that, like going in with a bulldozer and just doing it, like
you
because
could
you were a
never
bored
guess
fucking army soldier,
No.
it would look way messier than that.
It's way too big to have like any sense of scale while you're doing it on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that took some fucking planning.
Yeah, it's impressive to say the least.
It's impressive.
Even if it wasn't aliens. If it was,
Well, it's not
excellent.
aliens.
I thought you'd be leaping to the defense of the aliens.
Look, I don't think it's aliens.
All right.
I could be wrong,
I don't either. I just wanted you to think it was.
but aliens don't do shit like this.
I just figured I'm the more skeptical one of the group. You might have found some credence in it.
Aliens do crop circles and shit. If
Well, this is basically a crop circle, but
Yeah,
there's
but
no
it's the
crops.
shape
This is
of
a
a man.
semicircle. You think they prefer symbols?
I don't know. This is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Because even if this artist guy that said that he did it on his deathbed, he couldn't have done it alone.
No, it would have had to.
It would have taken a whole team of people.
I think it would have been a group of people.
Yeah.
And they would have just been sworn to secrecy. Which I
just
I
to
would
do
like
it
to
for
be. I
fun?
would like to have a secret like that.
Yeah,
You'd
but you
walk
got to
around
tell you
with,
you got to tell someone sometime.
Do you? Well, he did on his deathbed.
Yeah, but did he? Why isn't
Well,
it
who knows?
all over everything?
I think all people kind of also don't want to know.
Yeah.
The mystery is quite charming.
Yeah, absolutely. But why do you reckon they did it? What purpose?
Realistically, it's probably something quite boring. The tourism thing isn't a bad idea. Like, it could have been Bardius Goldberg teaming up with getting funding from somebody to do it because he'd always wanted to do an artwork like that. And it would have been in the best interests of the towns in the area to get some tourists through.
Yeah.
So maybe a few people were involved. I think that realistically, that's probably what happened.
Did it get any like international
Yeah.
attention?
Yeah, big time. It
Yeah.
was quite big in the United States because of all
Because
of
there was
the
like a
American
little American flag
stuff
and
that was
shit.
found
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
So it faded, but then they re-indented
They
it.
redid it 2 years ago,
Yeah, right.
which is cool. I'm glad
So now they'll just keep doing that?
it lasted 15 years the first time.
Yeah. Wowee.
18 years, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit of a landmark now. There's no reason to not.
Yeah,
not
but like
do
how
it.
much money is that going to cost every time they have to do that?
I'm pretty sure there are other areas of wastage in the government we can focus on before something like a nice tourist location like this.
It's true.
I don't think this is the one that's bringing the nation to its knees.
No. Gosh, isn't Australia just so silly?
It's interesting. It's very silly and it's charming.
Yeah, it's definitely charming in its silliness.
But ridiculous.
But so ridiculous. This kind of shit, of course it happened in Australia.
And we say charming, but the implication of that is that we would seem ridiculous to other countries.
Yeah.
And we sound like this too. Like, how unlucky can you be? Like,
Yeah.
we do this and then we go, oh yeah, I look pretty good, man, in the desert. Like, we sound so silly.
Well, to me, we sound not silly.
Well, we sound fine to ourselves, but so do people from Louisiana, like
Yeah.
Cajuns.
Yeah.
Or like Scottish people.
Yeah.
And they're adorable as well.
They
Maybe
are
we're
adorable.
adorable like Scottish people.
I mean, Australia's just like you wouldn't believe it.
No, it's insane. It's so ridiculous.
You'd be like, that's too ridiculous.
Yeah. You can't
This
write this shit.
happened before the internet too.
Yep. No one was putting this on their story.
No. But you wouldn't do this as a secret thing these days.
No.
If you were doing something like this as a group and you were sworn to secrecy, one of those people would fucking put something on the Instagram story or something.
Yeah. They would get right to the end and one of the guys would be like, we out here, check it out. Live from the Marree Man. And one of the others would be like, Ben, damn it, what did we tell you? He's even put up a Facebook story about it, which you know is a mark of an insane person.
Absolutely.
Have you been on Facebook recently? And people are putting stories on Facebook. Do you hear what I just said?
Yeah.
Stories on Facebook.
I've never looked at a Facebook story.
Me either. I've literally never opened one.
Apparently Twitter has like moments as well.
Huh.
Do you Twitter?
Yeah.
Do you use it?
Mine is quite barren.
I joined Twitter and then I didn't do anything about it.
Do we have a Twitter for Chains of Mystery?
No.
We'll have one next week.
All right.
That we should definitely be using Twitter for this.
Should we?
But I just can't. I think I got into the Twitter game too late, and I think I have I have a lot of stuff that I would like to be
You'd be
saying
funny
on
on Twitter.
But I'm late to the game, and now I don't want to go through that period where I'm getting a handle on it and I'm not funny for a short period of time.
Yeah.
I know that's not really much. It's not going to be a huge sacrifice.
No.
But just learning the
Everyone's
game.
got to find their footing.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm already cutting back on social media anyway. Like even I don't ever use Facebook, and my Instagram use is like pretty minimal now. So what am I going to do? Get another social media now that I've finally started to cut it out.
Yeah. Well, that's why I got Twitter, because Twitter seems to be like the better one.
It's like getting off crack and being like, oh, finally, I'm rid of it.
Yeah.
And then being like,
getting...
I might try this heroin though.
Yeah.
That sounds all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So next week,
And
should
Facebook
we...
in this scenario is bath salts.
Facebook's not that bad.
Yeah, I have a huge
I don't
aversion to
open it
Facebook.
very
You know that I
often.
do. I think I've spoken.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows me knows that I hate Facebook.
Yeah.
I talk
you've
about
hated
it
Facebook for a
so
long
soon
time.
with people.
Yeah.
First conversation, I'd be like, don't you hate
Hi, my
Facebook?
name's Lewis Hamilton. I fucking hate Facebook.
Yeah.
I think that's how you introduce yourself to me.
I think so. That's definitely a standard now. If it wasn't for you, it's definitely how I introduce myself.
Yeah.
So next week, what did you say?
Next week we'll be on heroin.
Yes, absolutely.
And we'll be coming to you live from the Church of Scientology.
Mm-hmm. That would be an amazing episode.
That would be an amazing episode.
It's not a
It'd
risk
be
that I'm willing to
mess.
take. Oh, for sure.
We'll do our live Scientology bashing episode from the Church of Scientology.
Yeah, on heroin.
On heroin.
Guaranteed.
All right. Sounds good. Let's look up Church of Scientology. Let's make this dream a reality.
Uber Scientology. Get it delivered straight to your door.
Church of Scientology of Brisbane.
Great.
All are welcome.
Is there one on the Gold Coast? Let's go a little bit. Let's go even deeper.
Probably not. No. Just Brisbane.
Right. Looks like we're going on a road trip.
George Street. First floor, Brisbane City.
That's an amazing venue. How are they paying for that? That's
They're
right.
not.
They're scamming all of their members. I forgot about the scamming. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, they're stealing money from everybody who...
Oh, that's Dianetics.
Yeah, it's not as nice as I
No.
expected. I thought it was going to be pretty ritzy.
Good location, though.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Looks like we'll be going
Let's
on
do
a road
it.
trip.
Oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
If it's not that, we may have some other special, some sort of
Some kind of special.
something planned for next week, considering it's the 10th episode. So thanks to everybody who stuck around
Yes.
for this long.
Yeah.
10's a little milestone.
All
Been
10 of
looking
you.
forward to it. 10 people, 10 episodes, one person per ep.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
Hopefully there'll be 10 more.
Wow, that does
If you don't break
not
up with me in
sound
the
impressive.
podcast.
All right, is there any housekeeping? Anything you'd like to do? Any more celebrity news you would like to get to before we head off?
Celebrity news. No. I used to always buy like those gossip mags. I used to love a gossip mag.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
Now I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't, because I just have BuzzFeed.
Oh my gosh, even worse. What's the opposite of graduating? Of evolving?
The opposite of graduating?
Devolving. That's what you've
Devolving.
done.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Actually, BuzzFeed's probably better.
Well, it's got...
It's more informative. It's got news, whatever, we know.
I actually screenshot something the other day to send to you. It was like 3 a.m. and it was something ridiculous on BuzzFeed. Let me get my phone
Was it a listicle?
so I can show you. It might not be as good as I remember.
Do you wake up to screenshots sometimes and remember absolutely wetting yourself in bed the night before,
Yeah.
and then it's like the worst meme of all time?
Yeah. Oh no. Maybe I deleted it.
It must have been bad. Couldn't even handle the 10 kilobytes it was
Oh,
taking
that's
up on your
upsetting.
phone.
I never delete anything. Damn it. I must have deleted it. Anyway, it was something ridiculous on BuzzFeed, and I was going to text it to you and say, it's not just trash on BuzzFeed.
Okay. It
was
definitely
absolute trash.
Yeah. Actually, I have something I want to share with people. Oh, wait. Talk to me about it. You sound like you've just remembered something.
Oh, maybe it was like the Bunnings sausage sizzle fiasco.
Oh, my gosh. Awful. I am starting a new segment that's probably going to run for this week only, but we'll see. Internet tips of the week. My internet tip of this week is that if you go to a website, a news outlet, and it has a paid article, like it's behind the paywall, you can just go to outline.com, paste the link of the original article in there, and get access to it straight away. There's also one called Text Sheet, which you can use for educational resources like Chegg and stuff like that, where you need to have a subscription to see the full answer sheets and stuff, and do the same thing. So you're welcome, all you students out there. I'm not being sponsored. It's a free service and definitely illegal. When we're famous, I'll have to come back and edit that bit out of the podcast. Yeah. For now, I have no qualms sharing that information.
What text sheet?
Yes, an outline for news articles. In fact, I used it this week for my research.
The Marree Man.
Mm-hmm. Worked like a bloody charm.
Nice. Thank you.
So this is you better appreciate the lengths that I went to get this information, everybody. It might have been short, but I risked my internet life on it.
I want to say as well, so there was no Wikipedia page for what I did. Usually impressive. I just pull shit straight from Wikipedia. Yeah. I had to put that together.
That's not bad. I got mine from a few articles as well. I think, honestly, I'm never going to be able to top translating articles from Japanese. Like, that was probably and it showed that my information was terrible. But I made an effort.
It was a great episode.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. You feel, when you actually put the effort in, you feel prouder of your story, I think.
Definitely. This one was kind of the same.
Yeah.
It's probably why it was so short as well.
Actually,
short and sweet. We managed to talk for half an hour outside of it, so I'm
perfect.
sure everybody will be happy.
All right. Well,
you don't have any segments you want to start?
Not this week.
1 week? All right.
Maybe next week.
Okay. All right. Everybody tune in for your internet hot tip next week with Chains of Mystery.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.